What is up, everybody? Welcome to Daily Betslip, Friday, May 6th. I'm your host for today, Reed Wallach. Alongside me, Donnavan Smoot, the star of Rookie vs. the Vet, our NHL playoff series preview breakdown. We're going to get into some NHL playoffs. We're going to do some NBA playoffs. WNBA tips off tonight. We're going to be breaking that down for you as well. But Donovan, let's start here. Happy Friday. What's going on, my man? How are we doing?
Listen, everything's fantastic. And I was telling you before we got on, I'm gonna go see Doctor Strange tonight. I have to see it. You got to see Marvel movies either the night it comes out or the day after. My sister was trying to get me to wait till Sunday to go watch it with her. I told her, listen, Twitter's gonna be too crazy. I can't risk it. I have to see it tonight.
See, this is funny. I get into this debate with my roommate because me and him are both also Marvel fans. We look at superheroes, all that stuff. Not for everyone, but we are. It's actually his birthday today, so happy birthday, Max. But he can't go on Twitter. He freaks out when these big time superhero movies come out, and I'm like, just like don't look. Like you're like scrolling through your timeline. Like if you see it coming up, just don't look. He's like, I can't do it. Can't do it. I could try and mute as much, but it always gets in the way. So he is one of those that like needs to see it day it comes out. For me, I'm like, I'll roll in when I gotta go. Like I'm not gonna force this movie. Tonight, like I said, it's his birthday, so going out with the fellas. But Doctor Strange, I'm thinking like within the next 2 weeks, I'll carve out a night and hit it.
2 weeks? Oh no.
Listen, man, I'm a busy guy. I got like NBA playoffs going on. I got stuff to do. The Nets are out, so I got to make up for some dates with the girlfriend. I got some stuff going on.
Oh no. You gotta take her to go see Doctor Strange.
I did get her to watch the Avengers.
He
turned into a fan. So now maybe that could be one of my excuses to go on a date with her. Be like, all right, let's go see Doctor Strange.
That's what I'm saying. 2 birds, 1 stone. Come on.
Well, so I guess my Nets are out, but also my Mets. This is a good segue for me, but my Mets with an unbelievable comeback last night as we turn the page to look at our bad beat of the day. The Mets storm back in the 9th inning, left for dead. They come back from down 7-1 the 9th, 7-run 9th, win 8-7 against the Phillies. The Mets now 5.5 up in the NL East, 7 up on the Phillies specifically. I saw they were as high as 34-1 heading into the 9th inning. So, I mean, I saw like one bet slip of that. Congrats to you if you, for some reason, threw that dart there. But listen, sometimes you get lucky, right? But obviously, the Mets win. Donovan, were you watching the game? Any comment on it? I mean, that's just wild. A 7-run night. When does that happen?
No, I wasn't watching. I wasn't watching Mets Phillies. I was watching a lot of playoff hockey last night.
Oh, you're in playoff hockey now.
Listen, I'm in it. I'm fully in the throes. And so for Ian, if you're watching, if you ever see this, you're going down. You're losing this round. But no, it was crazy, and I didn't see it until this morning, and I saw this ESPN stat on it. So in the last 25 years, right, the Mets were 0-330 when down by 6 runs or more heading into the 9th inning. Literally had not been done in over a quarter century. They probably had much more losses before that, So this is a decade-long curse stat that they just broke last night. For the Phillies, like if you're a Philly fan, you just gotta be sliding down a wall right now. You gotta be hurt.
Yeah,
you have to be hurt.
Yeah, Philadelphia, they've had bullpen issues for years, but this is obviously like a new low, blowing this. And it's funny because I've said this multiple times, and it's weird that I've been on Daily Betslip, I think 3 or 4 times, and twice now we're talking about Mets crazy comebacks as like the bad beat of the day. This is like a game that the Mets would blow. Like the Mets don't come back from down 6 in the 9th inning to win. That's not how it works with the Mets. They blow these games. And, they're starting to get those wins that, like, you remember this one in October when, like, you have like your season review videos, like this game is going to be on. Like you remember these. And the Mets, I mean, listen, right there, I think they're like decimal points off the best record in baseball. Obviously, like I said, 5.5 up in the division already. And I know it's May 6th, and Peter and I were talking about this the other day, but like you're at a point where 6 games, like that's a big margin. You give yourself a lot of cushion for when the injury bug hits, for when you go on like that, you lose 7-10 and you lose a little bit of ground. Like if you could build up early wins, really stack the chips, you separate yourself. So this is now the second time they've come back in the 9th inning, multiple run deficit. They came back against the Cardinals also. So, I mean, hey, bad beat to some, but I'll take it as a Mets fan. Just keep stacking just because it really does seem like, yes, it's luck, but listen, there's 162 games. These lucky wins happen, and to get it against a divisional rival like this on the road, slow down their crowd. They're actually rained out tonight, but this is a lot of momentum that's going to carry over, especially when Jacob deGrom could eventually come back. I think I'm cautiously optimistic. Can't get too excited with the Mets, but I'm cautiously optimistic that the Mets are a contender. More so than the Nets.
I'm happy for you. That's literally.
It's been a long year for me. I need this Mets. I need this Mets.
Yeah, like as a Knicks fan, anybody who's a fan of like another team that just puts them through constant sorrow, anytime I see them on the up and up, I'm like, you know what, you deserve it, because I understand what you're going through. So that's it. I'm happy for you. I'm glad that happened last night.
Well, now I'm going to change gears though. We're going to go completely pivot here. But it is WNBA opening night tonight. And Donovan, I know you are a big WNBA fan. So we have 4 games on the docket tonight. Yes. So what I'm thinking is, let's maybe start opening night. Let's go with the 4 games on the slate. I'll read off the lines. You'll give me maybe a best bet, a lean, what you're looking for to see on opening night. And then we'll go big picture. We'll zoom out and talk about the championship picture, futures, MVP, stuff like that. How about that?
Sounds good. Let's go.
Okay. So we start. So we're going to start 7 p.m. Fever catching 9, shaded towards the Fever against the Mystics. Pretty high total at 162.5. Anything here that you're seeing? I know it's early, but this is the biggest spread of opening night. Are the Fever they're gonna get routed here?
I think they are. Because
rightful dogs.
Yeah, I think the rightful dogs. The big thing for the Mystics, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, is Lena Deladon is like back. Mm-hmm. And she's like actually healthy this season, and so you're kind of seeing you're going to see the Mystics kind of try to put things back together this year. So I think they start off strong, and the Fever is just listen. I just don't think that talent wise, like if you go on the other side and you have Deladon and Ariel Atkins and mm-hmm. and Natasha Cloud, you have all them. I don't think tonight's going to be the night to get that first win.
Also, opening night. Extra juice, maybe. They get it going. Then we got also at 8 p.m., we have the defending champion Sky. They're 3-point home favorites. Again, minus 120 over at WinBet right now. So shaded towards the Sky, hosting the Sparks, who have Liz Cambage this season. Obviously a big acquisition. What are we thinking, Sky? Is there like a ring night hangover in the WNBA? I know it's like a trendy narrative to fade, getting their rings, getting all excited, and they come out flat. But I mean, the Sparks are set to be a contender. Can the Sky get off to a hot start?
I think they can, and the story just came out. So allegedly, like this may be Candace Parker's last year in the WNBA. She's mulling retirement right now, and so obviously she's not going to come out today, like before the game, and say like, oh yeah, I'm gonna retire. But listen, there's something about ring night. Mm-hmm. There's something about ring night that's just special. And I know that like people say, oh, you might have that low. I feel the opposite. I would rather back a team on ring night and say like, listen, it's the last time for a lot of people and a lot of teams, they tell coaches tell their team, it's the last time you get to celebrate that, with
your season.
Yeah. Everything we did, we're gonna move forward. The Sparks, even though they're like Liz Cambage is extremely talented and they have players. I've seen Cambage in situations where even though that she's there, her team around her hasn't been the best. And I think that might be the case in a couple of these early games where you're going to see Cambage like kind of do her thing, but the Sparks may not necessarily get the wins that come along with her great play. So yeah. I think Chicago is in a really good spot tonight. Now I don't know if I would pick them to cover. I do think that it can be close, so I might just take them on the money line.
All right. I like that. And then to me, this is the game of the night. I don't know if this is like consensus, but Aces Mercury, obviously Becky Hammond. I mean, this team, we're going to get into them when we go season preview, but full of storylines here. Mercury, obviously off the finals appearance last year with Diana Taurasi. The Aces, 4.5-point favorites. Obviously, Mercury going to be without Brittany Griner. And a sky-high total, 173.5. What's the play here? We like the Aces, or we think the Mercury get off to a hot start?
I like
a considerable underdog.
Yeah, I like the Aces here. I do. And it's
Are they a
and
wagon? Are they gonna like go off this year and like just destroy teams? They seem like they're setting up for a massive season with Becky Hammond coming over.
I think so. I think so too. And it's weird. I feel weird. Like I'm going out chalk. Like I just realized that I'm going very very chalky. Um, but I don't, dude. Like the Aces are just so deep. They had 7 people last year average over 10 points per game. And I think now that you have Becky Hammond, who everybody was, clamoring for to coach an NBA team,
Yeah.
and now she's going to come over Greg Popovich style, and coach the Aces with arguably, the best player in the league in Asia Wilson. Yo, they have a lot of stuff that they can do offensively, and it's
Mm.
going to be very very exciting to see everything that they do this year. So I'm gonna take them tonight though. I'll take money line rather than
Yeah,
total.
I mean, we're talking highest total by 11 points or so here. Aces, they are the betting favorite to win it all. I think that's rightfully so. At least heading into the season with a lot of hype, I think it's justified that they are the favorite heading into the year, especially when you have a team like the Mercury who is dealing with a lot of issues heading into the year. The Sky coming off that WNBA title last season. I think this is prime for the Aces. I would say to be the favorite, but also like just stack up wins, like come out, put up a crazy record, be the number one seed heading into the postseason and move from there. So I think they're a justified favorite. I like this. I just think it's hilarious that the total is so high based on, like you're talking about, bringing over maybe even an NBA like Spurs motion offense, but also the Mercury with Tarasi, Skylar Diggins. They're going to be able to put up points as well. And the last
Sure.
game of the night, Seattle Storm hosting the Minnesota Lynx. Storm, another big favorite, 8.5. What's the lean here?
We're going to Storm 8.5.
Okay.
I I
There's
think
there's a dog. Woof woof.
I think I think the Storm, and so like the Storm have been victim like to the playoff setup in the past couple of years. And so like they've won 2 of the last 4. The playoff scenario is very weird. Like the first 2 rounds are single elimination, and then you have the semifinals that are like a best of 5, I believe, and then you have the finals. For the Storm, I think that they get caught in just like the weirdness of that, but they've won 2 titles in the last 4 years. So I think that like as long as you have Sue Bird and Brianna Stewart and Jewel Lloyd and those 3, like you have a chance.
Yeah.
And obviously, like tonight, they have much more than a chance against the Lynx. So yeah, I'm gonna take them. Brianna Stewart may very well end up being the MVP this season.
Oh, so you are on the Storm.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I misheard you. I thought you were taking the Lynx. But yeah, no,
Oh,
I
no, 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 no.
I was gonna say I think the Storm, another team I feel like similar to the Aces where they could stack up wins. Like they have like that blowout potential with Stewart obviously down low and she can spread the floor. I agree. I like the Storm as well.
Yeah, yeah. We'll stay. Dang, I guess we're all chalked today.
Well, we got to
Very
see though. We eventually, a few of these I feel like we might be underrating, overrating teams, but I think we did a good job right there of kind of summarizing these teams, and also we can now kind of tie it all together with like kind of a big picture outlook of the WNBA heading into this season. So I'm going to start with the Sky though, because we spoke about them earlier in the segment. We talked against the Sparks, Liz Cambage, we were talking about a little bit, but let's just zoom in on Chicago here. The 3-point favorites tonight, it seems like the third betting choice behind the Aces and the Connecticut Sun also in the betting in the futures market. So they're still seen as a likely contender, but maybe not the favorite or anything like that. What is your outlook on the Sky coming off of a WNBA title?
I think that they are a team that got hot at the right time. And like, look, I don't want to be like disrespectful, but if we run back the Sun and Sky series, I think I might pick the Sun to win that, at least to push it to 5 games. But listen, they got hot at just the right time. They were a 6 seed that ended up winning the title. Now they have a lot of experience with Courtney Vandersloot. Obviously, you have Candace Parker, who, like I said earlier, may be on like her last dance, and that may add some motivation into the season. But I think that the Sky should be. I think they're properly rated.
Yeah.
They're just properly rated. I don't think that they're overrated or underrated. Second best team in the East. Go ahead and put them down for that.
Yeah. So then now looking elsewhere, though. So I mentioned the Sun. They're not in action tonight. Any thoughts on them? Because I want to talk about the Sun, and then we spoke a lot about the Ace and how we think they're the rightful favorite. But I really want to talk about the Sun and the Mercury also, who have a ton of issues that we kind of hinted on. But let's start with Connecticut. You just mentioned obviously finals runners up last year.
Yeah.
Do you think they could get back? Is this kind of a drop back? Like they're going to fall behind the pack this year, or you think they could stay in the mix in
No,
2022?
I don't. I think that they're going to be just fine. Like I don't think that there's any reason for them to fall back. You still have Jonquel Jones on your roster. You still have DeWanna Bonner. Both of them obviously have championship experience. And what I like about the Sun the most is that, right? So Jonquel, she's gonna go and give you 19 and 10 every night, right? And do it very efficiently. But as a whole, this team had the best defense in the league last year, and at least in the regular season, and especially in seasons like the WNBA, where every game like really matters because you don't have a lot. There's like 30 something games in the regular
Mm-hmm.
season. Defense really matters, right? Like you can't just say like, okay, well tonight's off, we'll make it up somewhere else. You have to be able to get stops on that side of the floor, and they do it better than anybody in the league. And then when you put that, opposite of the MVP, you have a recipe for success. That's why they had the best, record in the league last year. So I don't see any drop off for Connecticut this year.
Yeah, definitely. And then lastly, we'll talk about the runners up from last year. The Mercury, obviously, the Brittany Griner situation is still in flux, we'll call it. But you still got Taurasi. I know she's getting up there in age, but she's still more than capable of going off. Probably, I would say, one of the most dangerous scorers in the WNBA. Skylar Diggins is there. How do you see Phoenix? Can they get back in the hunt this year? Can they stay, up top? They're around the fifth betting choice behind the Storm also. So do you think that this is kind of like the beginning of the end, or can they get, back in that title contention?
It's okay. So it's weird. So obviously, like,
It's definitely a weird,
yeah,
situation,
like,
obviously.
and we are, at least I am not, I'll speak for myself. I am not like qualified to speak on the geopolitical situation.
I think it's for the best if we just try to not talk, like just be like the Brittany Griner situation, like let it just, okay, that's it. We're done there.
Yeah, like I'm right. Like I obviously, like I hope she's okay, but like I
Mm,
don't know what's gonna rush her to speak on that like that. But if we're talking about just basketball, you're missing a 6'9" center who can body up nearly anybody in the league, can go get a bucket when you need to, and has been, along with Diana Taurasi, the heart and soul of this team for the better part of like of a decade, for close to a decade. And so I think that they're going to be missing a lot. If they came out and they started off slow, it wouldn't shock me,
mm-hmm.
right? Because like you said, Taurasi's getting up there in age. I know Skylar Diggins is, she's not the scorer that she once was. So if Griner isn't there and they're losing that production on both ends of the floor, we'll see what they are later in the year. I think that the Mercury are a team that you can actually wait on and
I agree.
wait until either we see what they look like in the first, week or two, or see if we can, if they fall back and then Brittany comes back to the team and that price, skyrockets, you get at some value. They're the team that you want to wait on in terms of
Yeah.
betting on the future.
Yeah, let them kind of slide, see if they can see if like there's signs of hope though, and then once Griner comes back, hopefully she comes back.
Yeah.
That's kind of the buy time. But really quick before we get to best bets, what are we thinking MVP? Obviously, loaded market, lot of players kind of bunched up at the top. Is there one that stands out to you that you're kind of betting preseason or looking to bet preseason, and maybe I guess one dark horse, further down the odds board?
Yeah. So I really think that this is Asia Wilson's MVP to lose. Like I know that she's fairly close to everybody else. She's at plus 300. The next closest is Jonquel Jones, right? Last year's winner at plus 500. But with Asia, I just think that one, I think that the Aces are going to have a fantastic season,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
two, without Liz Cambage there, and they're not running this like this Twin Towers type of situation, and Becky Hammond coming over, I think that Asia is going to be in the best offensive situation of her career, in terms of like scheme matching the level of talent that she has. And with all the pieces that they have, they might not like you're not going to be able to double, Asia every single night because you have somebody on the outside who can knock it down, or they can run actions to get everybody scoring. So she averaged 18 and 9 last year. The issue with her is so she shot 44% from the field last year.
Yeah.
Jonquel Jones shot 51%. If she can get that 44% up, especially playing closer to the basket, if she can get that up to like 47, 48, then I really, really see her locking this up. But I think the efficiency is going to be her next jump.
Yeah, I think, listen, we were just talking about that Aces Mercury total being so high. And I think the Aces are going to be playing the highest total games of the year, game in and game out. I think Age is going to be the center of the offense and, really I think she's going to have like an explosion where she's going to clear 20 points per game. She's going to lead the league in scoring. She's going to be a threat. And I think the efficiency is going to come. I think Becky Hammond's going to come in and do a good job, especially on offense. So I'm with you on the Willison play. I do want to give a quick little shout to Breanna Stewart. I think the team success is probably not going to be there, but I just think there was the efficiency dropped off for Ionescu last year. I mean, shooting 37, 32, 91 splits, averaged 11, 5, and 6. But she's a triple-double threat, unlike many other players in the WNBA. So I think the Liberty might not have the success to get there, but if Ionescu could take a step in her third season and really push the envelope and get the Liberty into the playoff mix, get them maybe as like a dark horse team, she's going to get that MVP love because she's so well-rounded. She could do a little bit of everything. So I get it's a long shot, but I do think if there's like one further down the board that it's worth throwing a dart on, I mean, there's a bunch of players kind of in that 3 to 6 plus 3 plus 600 range. We're talking double digits further down. Ionescu to me is someone that has upside at least. I'm not saying she's going to win. I think if you're throwing a dart, there's value there because I can see the narrative going her way.
No, I completely agree with you, and I'm glad that you
she's
brought
no
her
doubt talented
because, dude, like she's my dark horse pick. If like you said, we're talking about double digit value.
Yeah.
She's the one that I'm gonna go. She's at plus 1,500 right now. The first 2 games that she played in the WNBA before she got hurt, she was killing it.
Yeah.
She was averaging 18. It's like 2 games. It's like 2.5 games. But she was averaging 18 points. Last year she drops down to 11. Let's see, like you said, if she can bounce back and if she can get above 40% from the field.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I really think, and like the East, there's a spot after Connecticut and after Chicago. There's a spot for a third team in the East.
Yeah, if the Liberty if they could take that next step and become maybe not a finals contender, but a playoff contender, I definitely think one that means Ionescu is, she's popping off, and also that just means that the team is getting more recognition. There's more narrative behind Ionescu. She kind of revitalized this kind of lost franchise for the last several years. So yeah. I definitely think, great points on how there's an opening there for the Liberty also. So I think if you're going upside, Ionescu is someone who stands out a little bit because it is loaded at the top. But yeah, awesome WNBA talk, both opening night, season preview, best bets for the MVP. I think, a lot of really good info in there for my guy Donnavan Smoot. But let's change gears here. Best bets. We're thinking tonight, Friday night, let's get some winners on the board. So I'm going to start with you. I know you were doing a lot of hockey yesterday with Ian, and I want to ask you how the series are matching up and where, if you're ahead of Ian. For those that don't know, Ian and Donnavan a little new to the NHL game, but seems to be enjoying it. I kind of just enjoy playing hockey anyway. Ian, middle an hour, is NHL better. Donovan's trying to take him down. I love it anyway, just, the ambition. But Donnavan, you have a best bet tonight on the ice. As I pull these up because I'm running the producer also. But we're talking NHL, and then I want to ask you also about how rookie versus the vet is going. So let's hear who you got tonight as the series shifts back to the lower seeded team at home.
Okay, so I'll combine these answers real quick. So I'm going with the Bruins money line, right? Bruins minus 140. if the Bruins lose this game, I've
It's
lost
done.
my pick. I've lost my pick for the series. I thought that the Bruins would win the series in 7. They are down 2-0. Their defense has been terrible in the first 2 games. They've given up 10 goals in 2 games. They lost 5-1 in game 1 and then 5-2 in game 2. So I guess, a little offensive progression, but I think it's going to be very, very hard for um, for Boston to give up 5 goals again. Like
Yeah, they have to.
eventually it has to stop. And I think if you're going back home, you're finally going to get a chance to catch your breath and say like, okay, like yo, what are we doing wrong? Let's reset. Let's get TD Garden behind us. That entire crowd is going to be rocking tonight.
Yep.
And so it's just hard. Like half of this pick is trying to keep my rookie versus vet
Mhm.
alive and trying to like will it into existence. So hopefully the Bruins come out 2-1 tonight. But I just think at a certain point you just got to stand up for yourself, and I think Boston does that tonight.
So did Ian take Carolina?
Yes,
Okay.
Ian took Carolina. I think he took them in 6. If
Okay.
I'm listen, I may be lying. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
No, no. Listen, that you guys also picked on every single series, so you can't imagine you have 16 results just like locked in your head. I've watched. I was looking around and looking around because I wanted a hockey future. So I took a stab at the Hurricanes at 14-1 to win the cup. So I'm against you here. I'm not betting on the Hurricanes, but I am rooting for the Hurricanes. I just think that I do agree with that home ice boost. You're going to get it from the Bruins. Maybe there's a little bit of, some overreaction because the Hurricanes did smack them on their home ice, but we'll see. The Hurricanes also have one of the best home ice advantages in hockey. So I can't hate the play. I do think ultimately Carolina kind of gets it done. They've been that like advanced analytics darling this entire season. But we're going to change over to the hardwood now, the association for my best bet, but I have a feeling you're on a similar wavelength as me. I'm taking the
yes.
Heat. My disdain for the 76ers is well known, but so last I was checking right before we got to this part of the show, but Embiid is still listed as doubtful. I would be shocked if he doesn't play. He cleared concussion protocol. He has the face mask ready to go. He's going to play through his torn ligaments. We know that already. So I'm expecting Embiid. He's going to be cleared. I think he's going to be able to play. I'm not going to overreact to that, though. I'm not going to think that, the Sixers are going to give a valiant effort. I'm going to stick to what I know because the Heat have actually done an incredible job of guarding Embiid this season. Embiid averaged 23, 13, and 3 on 42% from the field, 7% from 3, 90% from the free throw line. So, listen, Embiid's also an all-world player, so I'm not going to say he's going to play terrible. I expect, but he is compromised quite a bit. It's his first game back. I just don't trust the tertiary players of the Sixers to really give him anything. James Harden has shown nothing. I can't see him getting by because the Heat's ability to switch 1 to 5 has made it really hard for Harden to get inside and do anything. Maybe you get a boost from the likes of Danny Green, but I don't know. I think the Heat have him covered. What Embiid are you going to get? I'm going to trust the better team. Listen, even if Embiid gives you great minutes because it's going to be better than DeAndre Jordan's, I just think it's a really tough spot here. I think the Heat smell blood in the water. They might get Kyle Lowry back. This game is lying as a coin flip, basically. I guess shaded towards Miami. I just think they're the better team. Am I missing something? Am I looking with blinders on because I've watched these first 2 games? I'm underrating the impact of Embiid.
No, and we can go into my best bet because we are on like very similar wavelengths. So I'm taking it one step forward, one step further. I'm taking the Heat -1. Um, Listen, have you ever played basketball with like a jammed finger? You ever like jammed your finger?
Yeah, it's like
Right? It
it's
hurts.
impossible to play. Like obviously, like I'm not an NBA player, but
But like
jamming
it
your fingers
right?
is like one
Just
of the you're done. Your grip is gone. Like obviously, it hurts every time you touch it. It gets contact. Yeah, it's miserable.
exactly, right? So imagine that's your thumb. Imagine you jam your thumb, right? Which is significantly less than a torn ligament in your thumb, right? So you have a torn ligament And so imagine like a jam thumb, but like times 10. Broken at the same time, right? At the same time that your thumb is like ripped off. Yo, Embiid is
And
cooked.
you likely have a concussion.
Exactly. I don't think like I understand why the Sixers are going to force him to play. They should not play him in his best interest because once again, broken face, probably a concussion. His thumb is torn up on the inside. But I think Miami might be able to take advantage of a hurt Embiid on the offensive end. I think that they're going to be able to let Philadelphia give the ball into Joel and let him try and do his thing. If he goes on the inside and he tries to force, I think Miami has something for him. I think Bam has something for him, and
Dedmon guards him well too.
who?
Dedmon guards him well, like historically does very well against Embiid.
Exactly, and yes, that's exactly what I was going to say next. You have Dedmon who can also do it. If Embiid can't play on the inside and he just stands out on the perimeter all day long and they try to leave driving rooms for Maxey and James Harden, that's exactly what you want. I want the dude who's 7 feet, 250 pounds, 25 feet away from the basket so I don't have to bang with him down low, right? So I think either way, it's a win-win for Miami. And like you said, they smell blood in the water.
Yeah.
And if James Harden is not going to show up, and if he's not going to, which I also think that James Harden doesn't exist anymore, but if that James Harden can't come back to life tonight, Philadelphia has absolutely no chance.
Yeah, again, this is like, so Embiid was like ruled out yesterday, but like then obviously it came out that like he like hasn't cleared protocol, so he has to be listed out. The whole thing has been really weird, but so it opened 1, it jumped to around 4, and then because the intention that Embiid was out, now it's back to where it opened around like 1, bouncing around, whatever.
Yeah.
I just saw reports. Eric Spoelstra said Kyle Lowry is going to warm up with the intention to play. Even if he gives you 15, 20 minutes, I don't think he needs to go full bore here. But again, I think it's more what you said. How much can Embiid give? And the Heat are going to be able to match a compromised Embiid with the likes of Bam Adebayo and Dwayne Dedmon down low. So I just think the Heat are the better side. I don't anticipate Doc Rivers has some like schematic change where he's going to be like, obviously he has Embiid, but again, it's not just Embiid. I don't see Embiid going for 45 and willing them to a victory. It's how is James Harden going to get downhill like you were talking about? He's probably not because they're going to switch. They could put anyone on Harden. Anyone could stick to him. And now you're getting another capable defender back in Lowry. So I think I will note, I don't think it's like over. It's a lock. I'm not like saying break the bank here, but you're probably going to see some shooting regression from the likes of Danny Green. I don't think it's going to be enough to offset the Heat who like have been able to kind of get whatever they want on offense. And again, Bam Adebayo is going to be able to drag Joel Embiid off the rim. You get Jimmy Butler going downhill. Tyler Herro could finish inside. I like this Heat team. I kind of think they have them covered here, and I think they take care of business.
Yeah, and dude, like, and listen, we don't have to spend too much more time on this, but like, Victor Oladipo looked good.
It looked good.
Oladipo looked good. Max Strus was hitting them. I think that Tobias, especially with Joel coming back and a compromised Joel, how much room is Tobias Harris going to have?
Tobias has played well. You got to give Harris credit.
No, he has.
He's probably been. I mean, Maxey then him. Tobias played better than Harden.
No. I know that, right?
Yeah.
Look, I bet on Tobias's point total the other day. It was at 19 and a half. I took the over. I think he cashed at like 21. So I know he's been good. But at the same time, like, it's Tobias Harris. So like he's gonna have those like 22, 23 point games, and then he's gonna be Tobias Harris and give you that nice, like, 4 for 9, 16-point performance.
Yeah.
And that might be on the way. If Embiid is trying to force things down low and now everybody else is kind of like out of rhythm. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think offensively, Philly might have a little bit more questions than answers after today. So we're on the same page though. I think like Miami kind of has this one.
Yeah, I think that this is just shaping up, and then I'll tell you what, like, if Miami wins tonight, the second that line opens for game 4 has to be a bet, because this is not a team that is going to fight back. This is not a team that's going to rally. This is not a team that's going to say, hey, let's go back to, I mean, maybe they want to go back to Miami, but maybe not to play basketball, maybe just to chill. But that is like, then you're getting swept. You know, like to me, like, and we're going to get in, good segue again, but we're going to get into it with Dallas Phoenix. Like, to me, Dallas can lose tonight and still win game 4. If you know what I'm saying. Like they might not, but they're going to give you an honest effort. Whereas Philly, if they lose tonight, they're done.
Okay, I can get that because
I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm not going to call a win. I'm just saying they will give you an honest, like Luka will give an honest effort and try and get Dallas to go back to Phoenix. Philly is getting swept if they lose tonight. This is like a two game swing for them.
No, I feel that. That's very fair. That's very fair. I feel the same way.
Speaking of Phoenix, Dallas, let's talk tonight. Our game of the night. Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks from Dallas. Obviously, series shifting after Phoenix goes nuclear in the fourth quarter to pull away from Dallas. Currently at WinBet, Suns -1, -115 on the money line. 219 is the total. That one has been climbing since game 1, and for good reason. We're going to get into that. But I know we have a ton of plays on this game. We have a ton of action. So let's go really quick. Let's set the stage for the game, and then we'll get into picks. Yeah. Have you seen anything from these first 2 games? Game 1, Phoenix was able to pull away in the fourth quarter. Game 2, they ended up with 129 points, ended up winning by 20 after it was close to start the close to start the fourth quarter even. Have you seen anything from Dallas to make you think that they could get into this series, or is this just it's a formality at this point?
I think that it's so tough. I've been waiting for Dallas. I thought Dallas was going to keep it close in game 1. They low-key did, right? It was a 6-point spread. They lose by
7. That was a fake. It wasn't that close, though. I think everyone knows that.
Yeah. So you have game 1. Game 2, get blown out the water. I've been waiting for them to keep it close, and Phoenix just refuses to miss shots. And it's the most frustrating thing in the world because
they can't miss. It's crazy.
Dude, like I feel like Dallas actually has a chance. Like for 3 quarters, they legitimately have a chance to stay in this game. They took the lead. They took the lead in game 2 and were up for a pretty good chunk of the third quarter. And then Phoenix goes and makes their run and they do Phoenix things. I think that I'm gonna take Dallas tonight. I'm gonna take Dallas tonight to win.
I like it. Spicy.
To win. I think they finally get it done. I just think like there's only so many 45-point games Luka can put up in a loss. And eventually like somebody's gonna have to be on the floor. And Dorian Finney-Smith, and we'll get into this, later, but like, we could get into it right now because this is actually
give it a bet. Give it a bet. Why not?
This is actually my third best bet. Dorian Finney-Smith over 11.5 points, minus 120. Finney-Smith got in foul trouble last game. He only played 20 minutes. He's averaging 40 minutes for like this entire playoffs. Like he's been playing 41 minutes, 46 minutes. He is essential to what Dallas wants to do. He's a 3-and-D guy. He's been shooting the ball lights out. I think this number it's an overreaction to his bad game last time out. And I think that especially at home, probably get, a more favorable whistle as well. I really like this line for Dorian Finney-Smith. I think he gets it kind of easily. Listen, Dorian Finney-Smith, he had the first basket. Right, he scored off the rip.
I'm 100% with you here. So last game, and again, I had 2 props, or I had 3 props, but 2 missed in game 2. I had 8 and over points, which I'm going to go back to again. And I'll get into it after this, but I also had Dorian Finney-Smith over points plus rebounds because in my head, I thought that the Mavs were going to go small. They tried it at the end of game 1, and that's where they kind of made their run back, even if it was kind of fake. But they played Finney-Smith at the 5. They basically, and this is kind of my thought on the whole series. The Mavs can't stop Phoenix. It is over. Phoenix can name their number. Whatever they want, they will get. So Dallas at least is playing the correct game and maximizing their chance to win, which is we're going to come down and shoot as many threes as humanly possible and hope to make enough to win. That's why they've been able to stay in this game. They're simply they're playing math. They're doing 3 is greater than 2. It's an admirable effort. I mean, they've hung for 3 quarters in game 2 and they came back in game 1. So I think Dorian Finney-Smith, he was on track to play 40 minutes. He only played, what did he play? He played
20 minutes.
because he had 3 fouls in the first quarter. He had to stick to the bench, and they ended up going with Davis Bertans, and I don't see that as like a long-term solution. So I rode over 16.5 points plus rebounds for Finney-Smith as a combo, because if he's going to play center, like I could totally see him getting that points number, but also grabbing like close to 10 rebounds, like 8 rebounds, just by being on the floor as the big man.
Dude, so that's easy. I like that a lot.
The angle I went with. I also just think that number was 18 in game 2. And I think just the fact that he didn't play enough is sending this line down. But listen, if he's getting into foul trouble again, sure, I'm cooked. But assuming he gets some better variance with the whistle, I think he's going to play 40 minutes again. Like, I think
he has to.
Yeah, who else are they playing? They're screwed. They're so outmatched. It's crazy. And, like, again, at least the Mavs are putting up a fight. And I was talking about this with Philly. Like, I think they are giving an honest effort. They're trying their very best. They're just not good enough. It's just like they're just outmatched. I think maybe they take one game. Maybe it's tonight. Maybe it's in game 4. I think they get one. It's just that one night where everything goes in. But this is Phoenix, like, when, not if. Like, this series is over, obviously. But Finney-Smith, I think, is a great role player to target in this with props. And I'll take to my best bet now. I'm going Jalen Brunson under PRA. Under his points, rebounds, and assists. Under 24.5.
PRA, like it. I like the PRA, not PRA.
So I'm going under PRA. And it's been a rough series for Brunson because, again, he cooked Utah. He scored 24 or more points in all 6 games. So he looked really good in that series, but styles make fights. This is not a good matchup for Brunson whatsoever. He had 20 pros in 30 minutes in game 1. He shot 6 of 16 from the field. He had 16 in game 2 where he played 27 minutes on 3 of 12 shooting. So I want to go points, rebounds, and assists here instead of just points, because even if there's an uptick in efficiency from Brunson, because he is taking a lot of shots, and I think he's going to keep playing despite kind of being at a mismatch against like these lanky Phoenix defenders, the ball's in Luka's hands at all times. So I don't think Brunson is going to get a lot of assists. So like I could totally see Brunson getting over his points number, but he's actually going to go under because he's going to get like 2 assists because he's going to be stuck playing shooting guard, if you know what I'm saying. That's why I took this PRA number instead of going just points. So that was my logic behind that, but it's been rough sledding for Brunson this entire series. I don't like the matchup. I think that if there is someone that gets axed on the rotation, I think they'd go with Brunson over Dinwiddie, because Dinwiddie, I think, is maybe more that streakier shooter. I could see him getting a boost from 3, where Brunson's based on his ability to get into the lane and finish. Dinwiddie's more of like a volume 3-point shooter. So I could see Brunson maybe getting axed from the rotation. So I went under on Jalen Brunson's pros. You see what I'm saying there? You like the logic?
No, I do. I see the vision. And
then I guess I'll just rattle off a few more. But I also went DeAndre Ayton over 18.5 points. Again, this is a similar look from the Dorian Finney-Smith prop. Ayton's prop, first of all, he scored 25 in game 1 on 12 of 20 shooting, played 33 minutes. Similar to Finney-Smith, only played 18 minutes in game 2. He couldn't stay out of foul trouble. They went with McGee. They went with Bismack Biyombo. They were fine. They didn't care. They were able to pull away anyway. I think Ayton's going to get back to his full slate. Peter took this prop on Wednesday at 19.5. And again, it's dripping down a point because he only scored 9 points in game 2. But that's not because like he got played off the floor or something. It wasn't like a schematic flaw. Mm-hmm. He was on the bench because of foul trouble. So I think he's going to be back in the rotation, getting his full serving. So I'll buy the dip there on DeAndre Ayton over 18.5 points.
That listen, I like that as well, especially if Dallas, like you said, Dallas's best opportunity to win this series is to go small and try to outshoot Phoenix.
And let Ayton have his points. Let Ayton go for 25 points.
Exactly. If you have to try and limit, you have to try and limit the Cam Johnson threes and the Devin Booker shots and the Chris Paul, like all of that. So you say, listen, we will give you the 2 if it means that we can go get the 3. So I really like this.
Yeah,
I like it a lot. I see the vision.
Okay. At least as long as you can see the vision, then that's all I could ask for. And then one more, and then I'm done. Okay. Suns team total over 109.5. Played this in game 2. Again, we're talking about this Dallas defense can't hold a candle. Why wouldn't the Suns go over their number? They put up 121 and 129 in their first 2 games. They shot 56%, nearly 57% from the field. Booker and Paul combined for 41 in the second half in game 2. Maybe they regress because they're on the road, but again, it's not like, yeah, they got hot from 3, but they're getting in the lane at will and doing whatever they want. They're like, I have never seen a team ruthlessly hunt out a player like the Suns did to Luka Doncic in the fourth quarter in game 2. That was so mean. That's the only way I can describe it. It was vicious. They were trying to humiliate this poor guy, and meanwhile he's given 35 points, 40 points, doing everything he can, and he can't get any help. But I just think this team could put up 120 with ease. And even you like Dallas, if Dallas wins, Dallas needs to score like 125 points. Dallas won't win like 105-98. They're going to need to win scoring a lot. So this kind of, because I do agree with you I kind of like Dallas. I'm afraid to bet them. So this is like an alternative way of backing like maybe Dallas wins, but I still think Phoenix gets over this number. I think they flirt with 120 again. So I kind of emptied the clip there with this Phoenix Dallas game.
Yeah, no, I think with Phoenix, the total should be live in every game, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. They are scary.
Don't lie.
They are scary.
Yeah,
Phoenix is scary, and so like I've had the Warriors coming out of the West, and so I was like, I'm not going back on my pick. I'm not doing that, but I will say, I am concerned. I am slightly concerned for the Warriors, and I think and completely aside from the game of the night, and I would give my pick for the game of the night. But the Grizzlies, if the Grizzlies get past the Warriors and they end up playing the Suns, I'm letting you know right now, they are getting dog walked. The Suns will run Memphis out of the building, and Ja Morant will have probably even a worse series against Phoenix than he did against Memphis and against Minnesota. And that's hard to do because he played terribly in the first round.
Yeah, and I will say this about Phoenix, and it's tough. And do you remember last week? And for people that are just tuning in, we obviously do bed and breakfast on Saturdays and Sundays. We're talking NBA playoffs right before the start of the second round. And, Donovan and myself were typically on Saturdays. And I said to you, like, don't you think at least in my opinion, I thought the Warriors were being a little overrated after they destroyed Denver because the matchup was so good for them. And I thought that the Memphis matchup wasn't as favorable as the Denver one. Is there a chance, and I don't necessarily have an opinion, but I think Golden State might match up better with Phoenix than they do with Memphis. I'm not saying that Golden State's going to win or anything, but I said to you, I thought that Memphis was a little live to hang around the series. Not necessarily win the series, but hang around the series. I thought the matchup, like styles make fights. It's similar to why I'm going under on Jalen Brunson. I think the series is made perfectly for the Suns. Granted, I think the Suns are very likely to win the title, but I think that this is a picture perfect matchup for them. They could attack off the dribble with their wings. They kind of just have to stop everyone else but Luka, let Luka get 50 and get tired and then pull away. So I think that this matchup, it's almost like the Warriors with the Nuggets where it just sets up very well for them. And maybe you get the Suns a little overrated if the Warriors are able to get through their series with Memphis, but that's for another day. Yeah. But you like Dallas in this game. Are you going to bet on Dallas?
Yes, I'm taking Dallas money line.
So that's perfect for you because the community weighed in on our Twitter poll and they sided with Dallas. They are on the Mavs getting the home upset. Small underdogs +1, basically taking them to win outright. I guess lose by 1, you push. But the community spoke. They let us know. And listen, I think Dallas is pretty live tonight also. I think, again, I said this about Philly. I think Dallas has the fight to go get one at home and make this a 5-game series, a gentleman's sweep. So I think you get a guns blazing effort. I could see Dallas for sure. I guess before we log off, how many points is Luka Doncic scoring tonight? Just random number, shoot out a number. I have a number in my
43.
Head. I said 41. I think 41. His playoff, after this, we should log off. And anyone watching, go look at Luka Doncic's playoff box scores because they are absolutely ridiculous. He basically puts up 35 in his sleep. But that is our show for today. Donovan, do you want to run through your bets one last time before we hop off?
Yeah. All right. Here's the rundown for tonight.
Let's hear
locks, no misses. Bruins money line -140. Heat -1 against the Sixers. Dorian Finney-Smith over 11.5. And we're taking the Mavs money line, which is sitting at let me get that number right for you. Mavs are minus 105. So
A little
those are
cheap.
the plays. Those
Tell
are the
your bookie to
plays.
keep that 1 point. We're taking the money line.
Exactly.
And for me, I'm on Dorian Finney-Smith over 16.5 points and rebounds. The Suns team total over 109.5. Jalen Brunson under 24.5 points, rebounds, and assists, better known as PRA. DeAndre Ayton over 18.5 points. I have a lot of bets in that game. And then also the Heat money line, minus 115 for me. Those are my bets. Donovan, great show. Great stuff, especially on the WNBA. I really liked. You are on tomorrow's Bed and Breakfast with Ben.
Yes.
Make sure you are liking and subscribing below me right now so you could get stuff like this every Monday or Friday, Daily Betslip. You could get alerted when Bed and Breakfast is on tomorrow morning with Donovan and Ben. And may all your bets hit. Donovan, let's have a big Friday.
Let's do it. Let's go out on top.